Peace. Yeah, I just wanted to I wanted to do a part 2 on brothers and sisters that are obtaining knowledge of self and wanting to come into this culture or this nation. The reason why I wanted to do a part 2 because I think it's very imperative that the people that are getting knowledge of self get a supreme understanding of what must be done in the protocol that you must adhere to when coming into the knowledge of yourself. One thing that has to be understood clearly is that with any way of life, there's always a protocol. There's always a principle that you have to adhere to. Now, the reason why I'm going into this area of life is because I think it's very, very imperative that you get understanding from a person that's in this walk of life. Now, me having knowledge of self for over 6 years, I begin to understand that, right? When a person comes into the knowledge of themselves, first and foremost, what needs to be understood is you need to know who you are first. Know the reason why you get knowledge of self, knowing what is the purpose and duty of you getting it and what is your task at hand. Now, I'm not saying this in the sense of you not knowing yourself. I'm just saying it in the sense of when you come into the knowledge of yourself, you'll get a greater understanding of who you are as a person holistically. Now, second, the protocol that is required of you in the nation of gods and earths is this, or in any walk of life, I should say, is this: that you fast for 3 days and you get history on the nation, on the Father, and on the flag. The reason why you want to get history on these 3 principles is because when you come into anything, whether it be Muslim, whether it be Christian, whether it be being a Mason, whether it be anything, they have strict principles that they adhere to. Let me give you an example. In Christianity, right? When you want to get saved, you have to say the sinner's prayer. You know, Romans 10:9-10. Second, you have to believe in your heart, confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. And you accept Him as your Savior. Alright? Now, with anything else, in Muslim, and I say Muslim, in Islam, in Orthodox or conventional Islam, what they take is the Shahada. It's basically a confession. You know, you are taking a Shahada to show and prove that, you know, Allah is the greatest and Muhammad is His prophet and messenger. See what I'm saying? And the thing, there are certain principles that you adhere to when it comes to being a Muslim. You don't eat pork. You fast. You know, you represent the five. You pray 5 times a day. And the same thing with Christianity. There's certain principles that you adhere to. Same thing goes into the nation of gods and earths. You know, you fast. You don't eat pork. You study. You learn about yourself. You understand yourself, and you know what's required of you as far as your duties and responsibilities. Now, the only thing is that we don't hold you accountable and responsible for what you don't know. We only hold you accountable and responsible for what you do know. And what you do know, you're responsible for, and you're responsible for sharing that with other people if they're willing to learn. That's the key factor, if they're willing to learn. Now, the reason why I wanted to do a part 2 on this is because a lot of times people come into this nation and their foundation isn't right and exact. And it comes from the tree that they stem from. You can know a fruit by the tree that it comes from. So, like I said, it's imperative that for you to have a better understanding of what this nation is about, what we achieve and what we strive to do. You know, because of the simple fact of not having that knowledge will put you in a worse position than anybody that doesn't have this knowledge. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to do a part 2 of this, because I want people to get the understanding of what's required when you come into the nation of gods and earths. Because if you come into the nation of gods and earths, and you're educated is just giving you supreme mathematics off rip, then there's something wrong with that, because his isn't right and exact. And there's a lesson in our 120 that says the nation of Islam is all wise and does everything right and exact. And when it comes to doing things right and exact, you do it precise and concise. You do it to the point where everything that you have, you can show and prove within a matter of time. You know, for instance, if a God or earth comes to you and say, "Hey, peace, black man, peace, black woman, how you be?" And they say, "In what year was the father was born?" And you don't know. That's because you don't have the proper knowledge, or you don't have history on the father. The father was born February 28, 1928, in Danville, Virginia. If you ask, you know, and what year was his nation manifested? October 10th, 1964. You know, there's different dates, because history is a learning mechanism and a platform for you to get understanding of how situations and circumstances occur and the events that took place in those times. You know, that's why history is very, very important. And I had to get the understanding of that, because at one point I hated history. You know, I hated history because I didn't understand it. There's too many dates to remember. But me having knowledge of self now and being enlightened and educated and getting understanding from it, I now realize that that's very, very important to have. And if you don't have that, how can you possibly understand history in its totality? And if you don't understand history, then you're doomed to repeat it. So, you know, that's just all I wanted to, you know, build on. That whenever you come into the knowledge of yourself, or you come into any walk in life, understand the strict principles that you have to adhere to. You know, and the only reason why I gave the Christianity and Islam, conventional Islam, an analogy is because every walk of life that you have has a principle that you have to adhere to. Not being initiated, it's the will that you have to want to learn or want to get a better understanding of who you are as a person. Alright? So, like I said, I trust and will that this was beneficial, helpful, and that you got something out of it. Take the best part out of it, and take it, run with it, internalize it, absorb it, and use it to your best of your ability. That being said, have a blessed day, and I'll build you in the near future. Peace.